Hey friends, welcome back. I have split our dough in two. We've actually made pies with half of it. You might be able to see the pie maker up the end there. And now we're going to get started on the vanilla slice, so the pastry for that. I'm going to grab my other bit that was in the fridge, and I am going to lightly flour it in a second. If I can see my flour. Might have been put away in the cupboard. Yes, it has. So just like I did with the other one, but extremely light on this one because I want to get layers into it, but I need the layers to stick, which you saw, well, maybe you've seen in the other video how it didn't really want to stick together, but we need it to be workable. At this point in time, the humidity is so high and it's so warm that it's, you can see there, it's kind of sticking, right? So we don't want that. But we do want to get some little fluffy layers in this because it's going to be the top and bottom of a vanilla slice, which is super exciting. So, have you made a vanilla slice before? I'd love to know. Put it in the comments if you have. So, lightly on the flour, okay? Not like before where I was really happy to put a whole lot all over it. Now, if this gets sticky, we'll stop and put it in the fridge, but I'm looking for a rectangle because I'm trying to get two rectangles out to line the base of my containers there, my glass containers. The great thing about making your own puff pastry is there's very little wastage because you're working it to the size and the shape you want. So you can see there I'm intentionally trying to get it to a rectangle. So now let's start getting it out. Now I told you I wanted to try and put layers into this. I may only get one just because this humidity is so high today. It's actually stopped raining, which is really nice. Excuse my back for a moment there. So this is actually going to be a lot easier to get it into the shape I want because I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. Now I am going to put some more flour on top because it's already getting tacky. So a little more flour. Not too much though, not crazy amounts. I've got over there my dish I'm going to actually set this in. But I've also got the baking paper that I'm going to use to cook it. So there we go. We're making that rectangle. Now we're going to give this another roll out. Now I could try and put more into it. If I was making something like a Danish or something like that, you'd want to put more layers into it. You'll have to stir it between each layer. The fact that this is just the top and bottom of my vanilla slice is probably going to be okay to stop at this point. You can see I'm using my hand to try and get corners on it. Again, just so we're not wasting it, so we're not cutting it off. Although I do have family members here who are quite happy to eat the leftovers. So I'm going to leave it at that just because I don't think I'll get much more out of it. Now I'm going to put more flour under it though. Be really generous with the flour underneath. Otherwise it's really, as it melts, it's so hard to get it off the silicone mat. Okay. Now I need this to be, as I said, perfect to make it exactly the size you want. I need two that fit the base of that. Okay, that's what I'm aiming for here. So I'm simply just going to roll it out and occasionally lift it to make sure I keep the flour under it. So I might even flip it. There we go, just get some more layers of flour underneath, or well, what was on top. I'm going to occasionally push it with my fingers, however being mindful that your fingers are hot and that will be melting that butter. You don't want to do that too much. Okay, so looking at that sizing, that's pretty okay. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm really gently going to grab, here we go, my pastry cutter, and I'm going to just cut this across about here. I wouldn't mind a bit more width out of it this way in a second, but like this. Okay, and I might do the same over here. I've actually got excess, talking about making it perfect size, and then I've not made it perfect. It's alright. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and get this onto, I feel like one's really big. I might make that one the base one. Yeah, that's a good size base. And that one might be the top because the top has the wings that come out. Now this bit here, I'll just cook as leftovers. The kids will argue over that, no doubt. So I could trim up the sides. I'm not that fussed. Okay. It's going in the bottom. Maybe I could trim up this one because it's the top. Okay. So it's going to be a bit more presentable on top. So maybe if I do that. You can push this back together. You can use it again later. This is going to be, it's going to change appearance in the oven a little bit. You will find that it's going to puff up and it'll be a bit more rustic anyway. So to get these onto here, I like to do this. So this is the baking sheets that are going in the oven. Just do that. Okay, now that's good to go. I'm going to put that on an oven tray. And then finish this one in the same way. How good is these silicone mats to be able to do this? I'm a bit close to the edge there, so I'll just do that. There you go. You do have a little bit of give here. You can move it and manipulate it a little bit if you need to, but this is going to go in the oven and it's going to cook at, I think, 200 for about 10 minutes until it's fluffy and lovely, which will be really nice to get it out. Let's just have a quick look at the end of this recipe where it actually says, just spin you around, wrap, and that's what we did. Use as needed. So that's literally what they say. And then if I go to my recipe details, I wonder if it tells me more information. It just tells us that we can freeze it. So we can, at this point in time where it's nice and flat as a slab, we can freeze it ready for another time as well. But otherwise, that's it. I hope this gives you confidence. Give it a go. I'm going to share with you how to make the custard component as well. So if you've ever wondered, can I make vanilla slice? Today's the time. And actually, I'll be back shortly. I'm going to get this in the oven. I'll come back and I'm going to show you the second part in a second. So we'll see you then. Hello, we're about to get started on the vanilla puff slice, or just a vanilla slice as we know it here in Australia. And I was going to do this dairy free, but then I realized my puff pastry has butter in it anyway, so there's really no point. So let's get started on this. We're going to quit the other recipe we're in, and the first thing it says is preheat oven. Now that's to do the puff pastry, and if you've been watching through to now, you know we made it. We made a double batch. Some went to meat pies, which you would have seen the video yesterday, and some has gone leftovers now to make the top and bottom for the beautiful vanilla slice. So we actually have that in the oven right now. So it says line the baking sheets, and now we're going to get started on making the beautiful filling for the vanilla slice. You can see I've left the butter in there from the earlier, and that's okay. It won't make a difference. I am going to cut the sugar out on this a little bit. I feel like it seems like a lot. So what about 70? How's that sound? All right, corn flour. So this is our thickener in here. We don't buy custard powder when we've got a Thermomix. We can actually just use real deal ingredients that we know what they are and make it ourselves. Now this is a two-part kind of custard. We whip into it some butter later, which was also part of my decision making regarding whether I bother making it with dairy-free milk. And yeah, I was like, oh, I'm putting butter into it, and there's butter in the pastry. There's probably no point. Okay, whole milk. So I've just got my long life milk out. And the reason for the big cook up today is because it's incredibly wet outside, and we will be cut off, if we're not already, very shortly by the water from our major town, which is okay. When you've got a Thermomix, it really doesn't fuss you because you've got all the ingredients you need to whip up something amazing while you wait for the waters to go down. So that's okay. All right, some vanilla syrup. So if you haven't already got your own vanilla paste in the fridge, definitely do that. It is beautiful. You just got to source some vanilla beans. That's normally the hardest part, but once you've done that, you can then whip it up and have it there ready. So next up, we've got simmering basket on top. So this is going to cook up this for 6 minutes at 100 degrees. While that's happening, I just jumped ahead to look that you need to split some eggs up. So you want to separate some eggs. We need 6 eggs for this recipe so that you've got those yolks ready to go and the whites in the fridge to make something else with, or freeze. Please freeze your whites if you don't use them. You do not want to throw them out. They'll go into something like a fruity dream later. You can just get them out from frozen. But yeah, don't let them go to waste. So I'm going to spin this up. We've got 6 minutes. I'll see you in 6 minutes time. Okay, it is dingling at me. It's saying it's done. We've got what looks like a really, really thick white sauce at the moment, but it would be sweetened, right? So now we've got our 6 egg yolks. This will add a bit of colour and flavour. Be beautiful in this goes. So then we're going to turn this on again, and it's got another cook. And in that meantime, you'll need to grab out butter because butter is your next step in this recipe. So on with the lid and the simmering basket again. And we've got 2 minutes, 100 degrees, speed 3. Off it goes. We'll see you then. Okay, let's finish this off. We're going to now, oh, that looks a bit yummy. We're going to add to the bowl, I think it's 100 grams of unsalted butter diced so that it can kind of dissolve in. So let's put this in. How good are scales on a Thermomix to just take the guesswork out of it? So in this goes, and it's going to go on and cook again, and then we've got to let it cool. Okay, it's got to cool before we can use it. It is your time if you're not organized with the pastry. It's your time to get the pastry done, because this goes on next, and it's got a 1 minute melt it through speed 3, and then if we look at what comes next, we've got to let it cool for half an hour. Okay, while we then do the top and the bottom pastry. Okay, let's have a look what's happening. Yum! That looked so good. That's my alarm going off, so my Thermomix stayed on for me. I want to take it a little faster. I took it a bit faster because I wanted to make sure that it was all well combined. That butter, I'm just going to stop it early. That butter, because I did rather generous chunks, some of it looked like it was dancing on top, and so I wanted to let that cool. But look at that. So nice. So silky. So pretty much now's your time if you haven't done your puff pastry. Mine went in straight earlier when I was organized with that, when you saw me finish it. So mine's about to come out of the oven. But that will be ready for later. Look at that. Like, it's just stunning. It needs to be cool though. Okay, we can't put hot custard into a pie. It will melt your pastry. So can't do that. So we'll have to come back later in half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour or so, and get that in while it's just warm but not hot. So we'll see you then. Okay, welcome back. I've tried to cheat this a bit, and I've actually stirred it a few times through to just try and cool it faster. So it tells you to line a square baking paper and leave enough to overhang the pastry. So I've actually done that, where I've kept the pastry I cooked on and just put it up the sides. Then it says place the cool custard mixture back in here. Insert the measuring cup. And this is where I'm a little anxious. It's looking really quite thick. I don't know what it's going to do, so let's check this out. So 30 seconds speed 5, let's see. Sounds good. There's a couple of bits dancing on the top again, like we had with the butter, so I thought I'd just whip them in a bit. So that is better than I thought it was going to be. I thought, is this just going to be dry? But no, look at it. Place the puff pastry square in the tin, cover with the vanilla custard. So let's spin you around. Here we go. And you can see I just put a little bit on the end in there. And this is about, let me just show you actually. This is, let me tell you, I think it's about 45 degrees still, 50 degrees still. So it's a little warm, but it's not hot. So I'm not worried that it's going to damage my pastry. But I also, when I realized how dry it was, I was a little anxious. But you can see there it whips up beautifully. So don't be anxious. Don't be worried like I was. You don't need to. It comes out beautifully. And I've taste tested it, and it's amazing as well. It was very hard to resist eating it all, actually. So scraping this in, you can see that beautiful yellow colour thanks to the egg yolks. And then we're going to get our lid and put that on, and then I think we just set it in the fridge and dust with icing sugar. So I do like this one. It doesn't have that sweet, what is it, icing sugar and water mix on top. I don't know what that's officially called, but I do like that this one is a simple dusting, excuse the arm, dusting with icing sugar. So it's a really nice way to finish it. Spreading it around, flattening it out. Oh, so yummy. You can see the little specks of vanilla in it. Okay. Pushing it to the sides. So this just needs to set now in the fridge, and that'll be ready to cut. The kids are like, how long will it be ready? I'm like, a little while. It still has some setting to do. Just trying to get it into the corners. Get it nice and flat. Okay. So now, it smells so yummy. Okay, now it says to top with the other square. So here's my puff pastry square. Okay, there's the puffy side, there's the flat side. I actually had to push one down with a spoon. It had puffed right up. So I just put that, I wonder which way I should go. No, I'll go this way. In here, make sure it gets good contact with the stuff. Okay, and then I might just try and cut and squeeze this tiny little leftovers. I didn't let anybody else eat into that end there. So, although in saying that, no, I won't. You know why? Because you end up chopping the ends off anyway. Because I don't have like a Lamington style dish that has straight ends, I'll have to trim the ends off anyway. Do you understand why? Because my sides all come in. So I'm not going to worry about putting those ends on. I'm just going to leave it like that. Put my finger through the puff pastry. Sorry, guys. But now, straight in the fridge, ready to slice. So you'll see this video tomorrow afternoon, 6 o'clock Sunday. So make it this week. Put it on your to-dos. It's really impressive. You don't need to buy it. You can make it. You have a Thermomix. You've got all the tools you need to make it. A little bit of time. You're going to have to prepare this in advance. But it's a great one for just to have, because we can. We've got a Thermomix. I hope you enjoyed this video today. I hope it gives you confidence to give it a go. If you've got questions, of course, reach out. I'd love to hear from you. But keep an eye out on the final product on YouTube tomorrow night. Take care, and I'll see you then. Bye, guys.